Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about another maybe glaring misstep that Angel Studios is making right now. They have alienated the majority of the people that supported them in the past through one simple film. Are they going to do it again? And instead of the film, is it going to be the actor that's involved that actually creates that reaction? I don't know, but we'll talk about it. Here we go. Now, before we get started, just a real quick reminder, I am trying to get to 50K. That takes a lot of extra effort for me, for you, for everybody. So double check you're still subscribed to the channel. Just make sure that you've turned the subscribe button to subscribed. Hit that bell icon and turn on all notifications because I don't want you to miss anything. We do a lot of content every week. And finally, hit the thumbs up button. I know a lot of people ask you to do all three of those things, but they are valuable to me, and I want to thank you in advance. Now, let's jump into this because this story is a lot of different starting points, but we'll start here with Angel Studios acquiring Taika Waititi film Fing amid ongoing audience scrutiny and actual disaster when it came to Animal Farm. Now, you probably have never heard of this. This is part of a children's book series by David Williams, who I believe is from the UK. And he's got tons of books that have become, well, worldwide beloved. These children's stories have been everywhere. So Trevor over here at That Park Place wrote this story, and let's jump into it completely. So Angel has announced its newest acquisition, Fing, starring Taika Waititi. The deal continues the studio's push for high-profile projects with major Hollywood names attached. After debuting at this year's Sundance Film Festival, which was months and months ago, the live-action fantasy film received generally positive reviews. And look, I can imagine that a child's book converts or adapts well into a film. I know there have been some changes to the original material itself, but it did it to add this villain character, I believe, that Taika Waititi is playing. His involvement here is certainly raising eyebrows. Back to the story. Fans are frustrated by Angel's most recent release in Animal Farm. The controversial animated film was directed by Andy Serkis, who is, well, politically active. And many fans felt Animal Farm betrayed both the message of the original Orwell novel or novella and the values of families who invested in Angel's audience-driven business model, which I am one of those people. This has worked out very negatively for Angel because they had basically created an audience out of nothing that was just looking for high quality entertainment with no politics. And yet they bought an incredibly political and very divisive film in order to, well, sell it to the audience. Now, they paid way more for this film than they should have, and they got very little in return, which we're going to look at here soon. So stick around, don't go anywhere. Now, taken together, the projects create a distinctly Hollywood image for Angel, despite the company originally positioning itself as an alternative to the traditional system, which worked better for me. I don't know about you. Let me know in the comments section below. Now, audience trust is under scrutiny. Angel did not produce Fing, which was co-financed by AGC Studios and has only basically acquired the U.S. distribution rights or North America. The company told Deadline last year that its guild membership passed 2 million members, people who trust them to make and buy good, wholesome content. Now, we know that the members are the ones that vote supposedly on the projects that Angel purchases. The question is that process transparent? Do we actually know, what the vote total was for Orwell's Animal Farm that was misadapted by Andy Serkis and the like? The guy that wrote the story for it? Questionable. Anyway, back to this story. David Fisher, Vice President of Acquisitions and Business Affairs at Angel, said that Fing is exactly the kind of fantastical, joy-filled adventure the Angel Guild was made to champion. He added, when our community of families vote with this level of enthusiasm, we listen. We couldn't be more excited to bring it to audiences across America alongside our partners at AGC Studios. I'm not really sure what any of that means. It's a lot of words strung together saying, Well, the audience voted for it, so we jumped on it. But after Circus's Animal Farm, the company and its voting practices have remained under very intense scrutiny. A lot of people aren't trusting them anymore. That's a bad position for somebody who built audience trust early on with things like Sound of Freedom. Now, Taika Waititi's involvement with Fing under the Angel banner is likely going to do little to calm any of those concerns. In fact, I think it's going to ramp them up. And I'm not surprised. Like Circus, who seemed an odd fit for Angel, Taika Waititi is known for what some identify as progressive politics, primarily centered on anti-colonialism and representation in film, and not on the merit of the people that are actually participating. That was me adding that, not something that bookstore Thor wrote. But he also worked those themes into Thor Ragnarok, which, if you remember, felt incredibly woke, was incredibly woke, and kind of broke Marvel unabashedly and made them stay very much left of center with everything that followed. I'm just going to say this could be another disaster that could have easily been avoided. But again, may. Why? Because we don't know what Taika Waititi is going to say. That's where he becomes a loose cannon, perhaps. Now, this material is very family friendly along the lines of things like Roald Dahl books like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and others, which I think Trevor actually references in this article. So let's jump back to it. A family fantasy with familiar influences. Fing is based on a 2021 children's book by David Williams. It's described as being in the style of Roald Dahl, who wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach, and so many more. All of them, are really good adaptations for the most part that have been turned into film or television. Reviews of the film from Sundance draw parallels to family classics like E.T. and Monsters, etc., etc. And all that's well and fine. The problem is they're still kind of reeling from what happened or the after effects of Animal Farm. And one of the reasons is, well, that they weren't true to their audience. But the good thing here is that Williams has written 41 children's books translated into 55 languages, and this is one of his best. That's amazing news. It's also interesting that the real action in this starts when the Viscount, who is an added character from what I'm to understand, will stop at nothing, even flying in like Poppins from the sky to capture the Thing and put him on display. Again, if my understanding is correct, and I'm not claiming that it is, this is an added character, this Viscount, which is played by Taika Waititi. Now, will it add something to the film? Maybe, but changing fundamentally a story, like let's say Animal Farm, didn't really help it very much. In fact, here are the numbers from the numbers in the domestic box office that it's earned so far. And honestly, that's not much. You see, at $5 million, this had a budget, I believe, of $35 million. That's how much they spent on it. 5 million versus 35 million, that's not a big winner, and it's not going to break even anytime soon. Do you know who's going to bear the brunt of that? The investors and the people who trusted Angel Studios. Let's get back to the numbers now. This is not a good curve here. The green indicates where it could be. The blue is an indication of where it is. This is not doing well at all. In fact, if you look at the numbers from weekend to weekend, they fell off 80%. Just almost exactly 80%, 79% here. And that's after losing nearly 500 screens. 2 weeks in, and it's not making money. As you see day to day, it really fell apart. So by, I guess its third day in release, you can see here, it was only making 850,000. It was already starting to fall. By the time we get down to the 10th, we're at 232,000, down 19% from the previous Sunday. And that says an awful lot. Again, 73% down, 78% down, 84% down. These numbers should be alarming to Angel Studios, and it means they really did break with their main audience. Could this particular film, The Thing, be something like that because of this guy, Taika Waititi? Maybe. Maybe not. The question is, have you ever heard of the books, the children's series? Did you ever feel like something like this could have been developed into a film? I think these are probably good choices. I think he's a beloved author. I think that he has something like, his books translated into 55 different languages. All of these things are kind of good. But at the same time, do you think by changing in the adaptation and adding this character in, maybe, just maybe, this will be too much of a change to bear? And ask yourself the following question. Is Angel Studios falling short of the expectations of their investors and the people who have been invested in the entertainment that they've been supporting? Do you think that we should see something that aligns more with the values-centric idea, I should say, that they originally tried to present themselves as? And do you think that perhaps this may cause a lack of support going forward and a drop in membership of people who can vote on what they invest in? Anyway, let me know your thoughts to any of that, including whether or not I got any of the facts wrong as far as the Viscount or any of that. I have never read these books. I'm merely covering the story. And I just want to say this is a delicate moment for Angel Studios, whether they want to say that or not, and we'll have to see what the results are down the road. Anyway, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya. Just maybe not at this movie. I don't know.